Hello, good morning, students. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to all. Okay, I'm starting, okay, without wasting any time because we have a long way to go today. So I'm starting and let your friends keep on entering by that time. So we ended up with indifference map yesterday, but I told that I'll again explain this indifference curve, and from indifference curve how the concept of indifference map is coming, that also I will explain again. So I'm starting with indifference curve again today, okay? So in indifference curve, what happened is the in indifference curve, whatever the combination of good x and good y is falling in that particular curve, you can see on your screen. This is the looks of a indifference curve. So in this curve, whatever the points will fall, they will have a combination of good x and good y, because these points we are getting by taking some points of x and some points of y. They are nothing but the quantities of good x and good y. So if we take those quantities and then consider those points which are falling on the indifference curve, it is said according to the ordinal approach that they all the combinations of the goods x and good y will give equal level of satisfaction to the consumer. Okay, whatever be the quantity of good x and good y, be it decreasing, be it increasing, it doesn't matter, but whatever will be the combination of the quantities of good x and good y, that combinations are going to give equal level of satisfaction to the consumer when he or she consumes it. Okay, so that was the concept of indifference curve, and then we had understood that if we consider any point which is lying below this curve, say for example in your screen you can see, you can talk about the point B. If you consider B, then it is said to be falling on the left hand side and on the lower side of the indifference curve. If it is so, if we consider this point B, then in comparison to this indifference curve, this combination of B is going to give less satisfaction or lower level of satisfaction to the consumer. Whereas if you consider the point A, then it is good. If the combination at A, that means it will be somewhere around 3 and 10. So 3 for X and 3 Y and 10 for Y, almost like that, or 9, yeah, 9. So 3 and 9 quantities of good, that combination will give higher level of satisfaction to the consumer because it is falling above the indifference curve. So there is a concept of high level of satisfaction, low level of satisfaction. Okay. There is no exact measurement of the satisfaction of the consumer. Like we did in cardinal approach, there was an exact level of marginal utility. Like that, it is not so in the case of ordinal approach. Rather, it is said that there is a concept of comparison of the level of satisfactions, and depending on the indifference curve, the level of satisfaction can be identified, and it can be said that the one indifference curve has got higher level of satisfaction than the others. When I'm saying this line that one indifference curve will be having higher level of satisfaction than the others, this is nothing but the concept of indifference map. Because here when I'm saying one indifference curve will have higher level of satisfaction than the other indifference curve, that means I'm talking about more than one indifference curves. So when there will be more than one indifference curves on a single graph, that would be called an indifference map. You'll see this is a picture of an indifference map. In here, there are a set of indifference curves, IC1, IC2, IC3. These are indifference curves. They have been named as 1, 2 and 3. All the combinations on the indifference curve, say IC1, it is saying that all the combinations, if you take this dotted points, this black dark dotted points, if you consider those, then it is saying that all the combinations, these are different combinations of good x and good y. So all the combinations on the indifference curve IC1, IC2 and IC3 give equal level of satisfaction. Here in IC1, all the points on the curve IC1, are giving equal level of satisfaction to the consumer. Whereas in the curve IC2, all the points or all the combinations are giving equal level of satisfaction to the consumer. And also all the combinations on the curve IC3 are also giving equal level of satisfaction to the consumer. Where IC3 is more preferred than IC2. Okay, so although these combinations are giving equal level of satisfaction on the different curve, but it is said in according to the ordinal approach that this IC3 this IC3 at the top is at the top, then second position is IC2 and third position is IC3. In these cases, the consumer is going to prefer IC3 more than IC2 and IC3. A higher indifference curve represents a higher level of satisfaction, because although these points falling in the single indifference curve, they are giving equal level of satisfaction, but when we differentiate between them on the basis of the curves, then the curve which is falling at the top or which is above all the other indifference curves, that will give higher level of satisfaction than the lower ones. Then again similarly IC2 will give higher level of satisfaction than IC1, like that. Okay, so however the indifference curve does not indicate the exact value of level of satisfaction. This is because indifference curve is based on the concept of ordinal utility, which states that only the qualitative differences in levels of satisfaction can be stated by the consumer. At the beginning only I said that you can say that I like to watch movies in multiplexes than the normal cinema halls. So you are giving a preference, but you are not saying that I am out 100 out of 100. I give 90 points to my satisfaction level if I watch movies in multiplex, and I give 80 points out of 100 of my satisfaction if I watch movie in the normal box offices. Because here you cannot give a unit. You don't have a unit of measurement. If you're giving marks, points, yeah, that is absurd because you cannot prove that theory. And when you're writing anything, when you're following any subject, you have to give theory. You cannot simply say that out of 10 I give 9, out of 10 I give 1. You cannot say like that. Those are absurd measurement. You have to have proper units of measurement when you're talking of economic theory or any theory in studies. All right, so unlike the cardinal approach, in ordinal approach it is said that this level of satisfaction cannot be measured, but the qualitative difference in the levels of satisfaction can be stated, can be put forward by the consumer. He can say that I prefer this product to that product, but he cannot say that my measurement of satisfaction is 100 kg, 200 liters. Like that he cannot say. I hope you are understanding the difference between cardinal and ordinal approach. So I'm ending the indifference map over here and I'm moving on to marginal rate of substitution. Okay. This all will be based on the indifference curve concept only, because this is the main element in ordinal approach, this indifference curve. So on the basis of indifference curve only the other concepts will be discussed. So here we are discussing the topic marginal rate of substitution. This link is uploaded in Moodle. Okay, if you want to go through the paragraphs properly after the class, because in the class I understand it is not possible to write everything. So if you want to note important things so that you want to think about these points later on after the class, or you want to understand the concepts better, you can refer to the Moodle link. It's there in your Moodle. I have uploaded already. Okay. Okay. So let us now study marginal rate of substitution. An indifference curve is formed when one good is substituted for other. This one we know by now because we are substituting one good for the other. Yesterday you remembered the schedule, no? Good X was increasing and good Y was decreasing. We were substituting one for the other. So an indifference curve will be formed when one good will be substituted for the other, obviously. Then marginal rate of substitution, we will name it as MRS. It refers to a rate at which one good is substituted for the other, while keeping the level of satisfaction of a consumer constant. Now, we were substituting one good for the other, right? Now, on the basis of that indifference curve concept, we know that the level of satisfaction is constant on a single indifference curve, right? By keeping that level of satisfaction as a constant, factor, when something is kept as a constant, we say that it does not affect the other calculations. This is what we say in economics, in mathematics, in finance, wherever you go, it is said that when one factor is kept constant, no, it is implied that that factor will not affect the calculation of any other factors. So here, when we are keeping the level of satisfaction as a constant, then we can calculate the MRS, or marginal rate of satisfaction. Now, what is it? MRS, it is a rate or a frequency at which the goods are substituted. We have seen that when we were increasing the quantities of good X, we were decreasing the quantity of good Y. Now, the rate at which we were doing this, that is measured by marginal rate of substitution. In other words, MRS between two goods X and Y is defined. This is the definition of MRS. Okay, you should learn these definitions. It comes in the examination. Very important topics. All the topics in your syllabus are very, very important. What is MRS? The definition is MRS between two goods, say X and Y, is defined as the quantity of X which is required to replace Y, or quantity of Y required to replace X, so that the total utility remains same. So here what you have to say, this is how, when you are measuring the rate at which the goods are substituted, so you will have to say two goods are there, X and Y, so the MRS will be what? It will be the exact quantity of X which will be required in order to replace Y. In yesterday's schedule, if you remember, 5 units we were decreasing from Y, and 1 unit we were increasing from X, something like that, or 2 units we are decreasing from Y, and 1 unit we were increasing gradually from X, and gradually the differences also changed. So if you want to measure that MRS, what you have to do, you will have to find out the quantity of X which is required in order to replace Y. That means the quantity of X which you will have to increase in order to, when you are decreasing the quantity of Y, and vice versa. Also, the quantity of Y that you are increasing or decreasing, that is decreasing is replaced. No, replace means you are decreasing when quantity of Y required to replace X, vice versa. So whatever quantity of X will be required in order to replace or substitute Y, and whatever quantity of Y is involved in order to replace X, that is called the MRS. Definition and formula is there, so it will be clearer when we discuss the formula. And also you will have to mention, when writing the definition, you will have to mention that the total utility should remain same here. Okay, keeping the total utility same, we will have to measure MRS by taking once, both ways it can be calculated. It is a quantity of X which is required to replace Y, or quantity of Y which is required in order to replace X. Next is your formula. It is expressed as MRS. This should be in subscript. X and Y should be in subscript. So MRS XY equals to what? Del Y by del X. If you are calculating the rate of substituting X for Y, then you are writing del Y by del X. Okay. We will discuss it again with the help of a schedule and a graph. Okay. MRS is also called what? It is also called the slope of the indifference curve. These are very important to remember because indirect questions can be set to calculate the slope of indifference curve. Instead of writing measure the marginal rate of substitution, it might be written calculate the slope of the indifference curve. In that case, you will have to understand that it is asking us to write the MRS. Okay, so MRS is what? It is also called the slope of the indifference curve. Let us discuss the concept of MRS through a schedule and a graph. This table which you are seeing on your screen, it shows what? It shows the schedule of MRS between X and Y. What is it? This is the first combination. In combination A, we are purchasing 1 unit of good X and 12 units of good Y. In the next combination, combination B, we are buying 2 units of X and 8 units of good Y. We are replacing um, we are replacing Y by X. We are decreasing Y and increasing X. That means what? We are replacing the good Y with what? We are increasing the good X. We are replacing good Y with good X. So we are increasing the number of units of purchase of good X and we are going on decreasing the number of units of good Y's purchase. Alright, I hope this is understandable. In combination A, we had 1 unit of X and 12 units of Y. Whereas when we are taking different other combinations, we are increasing the purchase of the number of units of good X and we are decreasing the purchase of the number of units of good Y. Like that, we have got the marginal rate of substitution of X to Y. What is it? What was the formula? Let us compare with the formula. Formula was del Y by del X. So del Y here is 4, no? 4 by 2. How they are calculating this? Just a second. Huh? Del Y by del X. Change is how much is not mentioned in the other one. Other one is not mentioned. 3. This is changing by 4 and good value is 1. So 4 by 1 is 4. Then 8 by 8 minus 5, that is 3. 3 by 1 is 3. Okay. So how they are calculating? You see here in the combination A, we are substituting what? We are replacing Y with X, right? So del Y is how much? It has changed by 4 units. We have decreased 4 units. Sign, let us ignore the sign for once. So del Y is how much? 12 minus 8 is 4. And del X will be how much? Change in good X? 1. It's 1 and it's 4. So 4 divided by 1, it has come as 4. Next one, it is 3. Difference is 3. Del Y is 3. And del X is again 1. So 3 by 1 is the next marginal rate of substitution. Next one here, in this case, we are changing by 2 units good Y. Del Y is 2 and del X is 1. So 2 by 1 is 2. And finally, it is changing by 1. 3 from 3 we are bringing it to 2. So change is 1. And here we are seeing the changes 1. So 1 by 1 is 1. Next combination is not given to us, so we cannot calculate the marginal rate of substitution for the fifth combination, so it is a dash. Understood? So we are ignoring the sign here because we are more concerned in calculating the rate. So we will ignore the sign here because here more than mathematical formula, concept is important. So we are ignoring the negative sign and we are saying that it is changing by 4 units good Y and del X is 1. 4 by 1, 4. Then 3, 8 minus 5 is 3. So 3 by 1 is 3, 5 minus 3 is 2, 2 by 1 is 2, and 3 minus 2 is 1, 1 by 1 is 1. And next one we cannot calculate. In table 4, it can be seen that the MRS is what? It is diminishing. Understandable, because MRS is diminishing. All the time you are substituting one good for the other, MRS is diminishing. This is why, this is because the basic assumption of the ordinal utility concept is that MRS diminishes. This implies that a consumer sacrifices some unit of a good X or Y when substituting X for Y or Y for X. Okay, when you are substituting one good for the other, then it means you are sacrificing one unit, some unit or one unit, whatever, for one good or the other. It can be both ways. Okay. So since you are substituting and replacing and then you are sacrificing, when you are substituting, it is implied that the marginal rate of substitution will go on diminishing, and it can be proved by this mathematical calculation in the table. Now the diminishing MRS of X and Y attained from the combination of good X and Y is shown in the figure. So here what we are doing, we are just plotting the different combinations from the schedule shown above. From using this schedule, we are now plotting the combinations in a graph. Okay, we are taking 1 and 12, 1 and 12, 2 and 8, 2 and 8, then 3 and 5, 3 on the x-axis, 5 on the y-axis. Like that, we have just plotted all the points by taking this schedule. If you are asked to take any schedule and then show how the marginal rate of substitution works, then you should take a schedule like this on your own. You can memorize this schedule, how these points were taken, and then you should draw that in a graph paper. Here you have to keep one thing in mind. If one is increasing, the other should go on decreasing, because you are replacing here and the satisfaction you are keeping same. So anyways, by taking that schedule, it has been drawn, and we saw that an indifference curve has been achieved, because these are those combinations which are giving equal level of satisfaction to the consumer. So these are joined, the points are joined, and we named it as indifference curve, right? Then from this figure, it can be seen that the consumer is ready to sacrifice AS of Y to gain SB of X. Okay, just a second. They have not drawn the entire thing properly. See, suppose we are naming it as S. We're just drawing some perpendicular and parallel lines from these 2 points. Say these are 2 points, A and B. All right, A and B we are taking. Say these are 2 different combinations. We have brought it from the schedule. Listen to me carefully, okay? Because very minutely the letters are written, so you have to follow me properly. So suppose we are taking 2 combinations, A and B, and now you see, it can be seen that the consumer is ready to sacrifice AS. This is the decreased amount of Y, because from Y was here, now it is coming to point B. That means it is decreasing by this much amount. The straight line is showing the amount by which the unit of Y is getting decreased when we are talking about purchasing Y, right? So the consumer would be ready to sacrifice AS, this much amount of Y, in order to gain what? This A is increasing. If you see the x-axis, this is going from here to there. So this much amount is the increase of A, product A. Are you getting my point? If not, please tell me. We can discuss it better. So when we were at A and we are coming to B, that means Y is decreasing but A is increasing. Sorry, X is increasing, isn't it? X is going to this side, right hand side, but Y is not going upwards. Y is coming downwards, right? That means what? Y is decreasing but X is increasing, right? So it is increasing by what? How to draw, how to find out the number by which it is increasing, decreasing? You will draw this straight line and join it from these 2 points. And then you will say from A to S, this is the units by which Y is decreasing, and S to B, this is the unit by which A is increasing. Understood? It can be for the other combination also. Had it been there another combination, say C, you would also have drawn points like this. You have drawn a straight line up from B to point where the parallel line to x-axis would have come from the point C. C, B, you would have joined, and then you would have said B, T, say you would have mentioned it a T here, B, T and T, C, like that. It can be done for any two combinations. You have to draw lines and join them, okay, from the two combinations. And then you will say that this AS is the fall in the quantity of Y, and this SB is the increase in quantity of X. Thus, MRS is equals to what? Change in del Y by del X. It was del Y by del X. So what is del Y? It is AS. And what is del X? It is SB. Change, right? It is increasing, it is decreasing, but we name it as change. And we say that AS is the change in Y and SB is the change in X. It can be noted from schedule and graph that MRS falls as more and more of good X is consumed. The reason for convex shape of the indifference curve is diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Why this curve is looking like a convex shape? It is because this MRS is keeping on decreasing. It is keeping on decreasing but not at a uniform rate. Had it been uniform rate, it would have been a straight line. But it is not at a uniform rate, but it is decreasing it is changing in a decreasing rate. And since it is changing and it is decreasing, the marginal rate of substitution is decreasing. That is why the indifference curve looks like a convex shape. Now there are two reasons for which the marginal rate of substitution actually diminishes. You have to understand the two reasons why. The MRS diminishes because of the two main reasons. First reason is in indifference curve, the combination of two goods is such that quantity of one good is more than the quantity of another good, right? Because in the indifference curve, it has to be so that quantity of one good will be more than the quantity of the other good. That is how it will go on. You know, you will be able to substitute one for the other. Thus, consumer is ready to sacrifice more of good whose quantity is large. Obviously, if one of the goods quantity is large, you can sacrifice that only. The one which has got less quantity, what will you sacrifice? It is already sacrificed, isn't it? So, the quantity of good which is large, that you will sacrifice. The consumer will be ready to sacrifice more of good whose quantity is large. When the consumer's stock of good Y is large than good X, he or she would be willing to give up large amount of good Y to gain more of X and vice versa. Isn't it? If one is more, if one of the goods quantity is more, you will be ready to sacrifice that quantity. And what will you do? You will go on increasing the one which has got lesser quantity. This is implied. And it will happen vice versa. If X is more, you will reduce X and increase Y. If Y is more, you will reduce Y and increase X. Isn't it? That is how the marginal rate of substitution will go on falling. This is again a concept of plus and minus. If plus is there in one side, minus is there in other side, plus and minus will obviously make minus, and that will imply the MRS is falling. This is something like the elasticity of demand only, not elasticity of supply. Elasticity of supply is always positive. Elasticity of demand is negative. That implies if one increases, the other will decrease. Let us quickly finish up this last paragraph of MRS. MRS diminishes because two goods X and Y are not perfect substitutes of each other. If they are perfect substitutes, then indifference curve would be a straight line showing constant MRS. That's what I say. No, if had it been a constant rate, like it is in one, the MRS is exactly 1, is exactly 2. That means the change in Y is exactly equal to change in X. Had it been so, then MRS would have been a straight line. The increase in quantity of one and decrease in quantity of other would not make any difference in the marginal significance of goods. However, see, when you are increasing and decreasing one good and the other good, it doesn't mean that the significance or the importance of the goods is also decreasing or increasing. Only the quantity size is increasing or decreasing. But the utility, the quality, the feature of the goods are not changing at all. Understood? However, in case of imperfect substitutions, the consumer is required to sacrifice additional units of Y to gain increasing units of X to maintain the level of satisfaction. Thus, MRS decreases. You have to keep the satisfaction the same, right? You have to keep the satisfaction same in an indifference curve. That's why you have to increase, when you are increasing one, you have to decrease the other. And that is why, since you are keeping the sacrifice constant, that is why MRS goes on decreasing. Had MRS been constant, then the curve of indifference would have been a straight line. Is it understandable? Tell me, have you understood properly whatever has been discussed today? Tell me, who have understood everything? Who have understood everything? Tell me. Everything was clear? Sums in MRS? I think no. Sums normally does not come. Sums more comes from demand and supply, elasticity of demand and supply. In MRS and cardinal ordinal utility, it is very important to understand the graphs and the schedule. This numerical sort of questions can come. Say in some question you might have to take an example of a schedule and then show the graph. You have done in the assignments also. You have taken a point P and then shown that elasticity occurs, elasticity is there. You have done those kind of problems. Just like that, here it can also be there. I'll give you questions, set of questions where you will find what sort of questions may be there. The sums normally does not come, but I'll see if I can find any. So, shall I consider that you have understood everything? Shall I consider that you all have understood? Not even, if not everything, at least 50%, 60%. Was it understandable? Today's discussion was.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So the concepts should be memorized by you, okay? If the concepts are memorized, the other things all become easy. Alright then, if no one has any doubt, you can leave, and if you have any doubt, please drop me messages. I'll clear, okay? Bye bye then. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone.